All right, so I just watched the latest episode of Agatha All Along, season 1, episode 6. It's called Familiar by Thy Side. And I've been really enjoying the show. It's not my favorite, but I do think if you're a fan of WandaVision, it does scratch that itch and kind of continues that story, obviously, with Agatha, of course. I think it's a fun show, kind of to get in the mood for Halloween. Been really enjoying Joe Locke's performance and Aubrey Plaza, and of course, Kathryn Hahn. It's a really fun show. Again, it has its weak points, and again, not my favorite, but it's still a fun, enjoyable watch. And I just started watching Heartstopper, which also has Joe Locke because of this show. I know it's the opposite for many people, but I'm glad I started watching Heartstopper. This latest episode, though, we're gonna dive into it. So spoilers, breakdown. If you guys are not caught up on Agatha season 1, episode 6, please stop watching. We're gonna dive into it. So the episode clearly is gonna be the backstory of Teen, aka Joe Locke's character, and it coming off of the last episode where he reveals his powers and is what we kind of assumed was going to be Billy Maximoff. Very cool scene. Sends Agatha and the other witches into the sinking mud. This episode opens right with a flashback and taking us back to Teen's or Billy's bar mitzvah. Now, I did hear that Joe Locke is not Jewish, though he is gay, but I can't help but wonder, like, oh, they couldn't find a gay and Jewish actor to play this role. But Joe Locke is doing a tremendous job, and again, it's not really my place to say it, but I am curious to hear what maybe the Jewish community feels about that. After that, walks into a tent to get his palm read, and he runs into Patty LaPone's character, Lilia, and she starts to read his palm, and she can kind of foresee his life is going to be split in two. And she doesn't try to tell him too much. He doesn't want to know too much, but we see that she ends up putting little sigil thing in his jacket pocket, and we find out she is the one who put the spell on Joe Locke's character. And if we remember, even the witch who cast the spell or this whatever the sigil thing is on them, they also forget. During the bar mitzvah, right after he walks out of the palm reading place, he runs into an announcement happening that Westview is evacuating, and they need to evacuate as well. I believe they're in Eastview or something, but basically it's right next door, and they gotta evacuate, which I appreciated getting to see his perspective. And we kind of get to see that moment where we hear Wanda on the radio, and we see Joe Locke's character find the little sigil thing in his pocket as the whole red bubble dome thing is happening from WandaVision. Then we end up seeing how Billy dies in a car crash with his parents, and then he kind of gets taken over by the spirit or soul of Wanda's kid, aka Billy Maximoff, which is true to some degree in the comics. It's sort of like a thing with Mephisto, and the souls or spirits or whatever went into the bodies of other people, and it's more him trying to find his mother instead of trying to find Tommy. It's kind of different, but I didn't mind it. I know that some fans may have an issue with some of the things that they changed for the show. I think Joe Locke's performance is the winning aspect or the winning trade-off for kind of changing things up. He just does such a good job, I think. Getting to see Billy Maximoff kind of see what Billy Kaplan's life was like, and that they both have this kind of interest in magic was kind of interesting. He has pictures or posters of Houdini and Black Cauldron and Wizard of Oz, and and other things, it kind of seems like it was like a meant to be pairing a little bit. I thought Miles Gutierrez Riley, who plays Eddie, the boyfriend, was very good. I know some people are speculating that he could be hulking from the comics, aka Wiccan's boyfriend, who is like a shapeshifter. Could be true, but I'm not sure. Just heard some speculation. I don't have a huge attachment to that character from the comics, but I know that a lot of people do. But I don't have strong feelings about the casting. But I'm curious to hear what you guys think. If you guys have any strong feelings towards the casting of Hulking, or you think that it could be him. He does send him like a black heart later, which was the same thing that Aubrey Plaza's character did to Kathryn Hahn. I do enjoy seeing all the other witches having crossed paths with Billy throughout his life, like Alice being the cop that she used to be, and Jennifer's videos that he's watching for the skincare or whatever. But it all leads to a very fun scene where Billy and Eddie are trying to find somebody who wants to talk about what happened in Westview, aka from WandaVision. And for some reason, I remember just thinking it has to be Ralph Bohner from WandaVision. And I was so happy when the guy turned around. Hearing the name Bonerific 69 was just like an immediate, like, dude, it's Evan Peters. And I know a lot of people were not happy with that kind of twist from WandaVision. Me personally, I really enjoyed it. I thought that I still felt like that itch was scratched of getting to see Evan Peters come back as Quicksilver. I mean, he still got to do all the stuff. He got to dress up in the costume and the make, and it felt like I got it in a way. Even though they told me at the end it wasn't him, I still feel like they gave it to me. And plus, on the plus side, Evan Peters is just so good, especially in this role, in this scene. He got to do something different with that character, which I really loved, and felt like I got to see a side of him I hadn't seen before. And he was so funny and very silly, but I enjoyed it. But it was an important scene for Billy to realize, he's the son of Wanda Maximoff, being described as the mind reader and having those powers, as well as being warned about Agatha Harkness, who Bonerific doesn't want to talk about because she took over his life and his house. And it is sad that we find out that he was the one who poisoned the dog from WandaVision. I've also been hearing some responses about the whole police interrogation scene of getting to see Teen's perspective, or Billy's perspective, on the whole interrogation with Agatha as her detective character. It was okay, but I also kind of agree with fans that it just didn't feel necessary and didn't really add too much more to what was already going on. And then right after that scene, we're taken back to the place where we ended on the last episode, and the mud pit, and Kathryn Hahn's getting out of it. That scene was cool just because I was like, oh, that must have been really disgusting to have to go through. I don't know what she was crawling through, but it looked very real. And then we get to see Billy break the sigil finally, and I guess she says the line about now every witch with a beating heart can hear you. And I wonder if they mean Wanda or just other witches, but either way, give me more. Kathryn Hahn was wonderful in this scene. Her just doing all the counting, trying to remember and stuff like that was very good, as she always is. But even though it was a good scene between her and Billy, or Joe Locke, I didn't love that we ended on this episode the same way we did with the last episode. It was pretty much just that backstory thing, but I get it. I still enjoyed it. I'm wanting to see more. We have 3 episodes left. The last 2 episodes premiere together, so we'll get to watch those back to back. Stay tuned. I would love to hear what you guys think of the latest episode of Agatha. Are you guys going to keep watching? Thank you guys. And let me know what you guys think down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day.